Well, this episode of Titans flashbacks to the old Titans to explain what exactly happened to finish showing us what really happened between them, what went down between them and Deathstroke in the past. And it's tragic and dramatic and ugly, but I loved it because it was so dramatic and soapy. And Titans is definitely getting better, I think, at its dramatic episodes. I think that they're definitely doing a good job with the action when it's there. I mean, they're not skimping. I mean, they don't have, of course, a movie budget, but it's not like Titans is a show where they, don't show anybody with powers actually using their powers. They pretty much had, I think, quite a few, action scenes with the heroes throughout this season, which I think is great. They're putting the budget to good use. I'll get to the drama first, but the fight scenes, the fight scenes between Deathstroke and the Titans were pretty awesome and pretty brutal. They showed what a powerhouse he is. He beat up both Robin and Wonder Girl individually. But it showed, they're definitely making Deathstroke a formidable opponent. And I was very surprised at the brutality they showed between him and Wonder Girl in that fight. Because it was pretty violent. He was shanking her, making her bleed. And he defeated her and could have killed her, but left her to send a message. And plus, strategically, he wanted her to send the alert to get the other Titans out. I mean, it was strategy, but very exciting. And it was actually funny because I think that in the comic books, Wonder Girl Donna Troy, I think, is skilled enough to be able to defeat Deathstroke. In the comic books I've read, she's more seasoned. But I guess this is Wonder Girl when she was younger and less experienced. But she's basically Wonder Woman Jr., and Wonder Woman could definitely beat Deathstroke by herself. But I guess Donna Troy and the Titans, Wonder Girl and the Titans cannot. But I love that fight. It was very well choreographed. I liked, the glowing lasso effects. I'm a sucker for shiny things and glowing effects. So I think that was cool. And then, when he fought Robin, Dick Grayson, he beat Robin up too and was going to kill him until, of course, Jericho got in the way to save Robin. But I guess now we know how Jericho died. And I knew that it wasn't a situation where, earlier in this season, we've heard people say things that, Rose said, my father killed Jericho. And then in last week's episode, Dick said to Jason, I killed Jericho. And I knew neither one of them exactly meant literally or like they meant to do it. That, it was going to be some kind of way where Jericho, because of the manipulations and things going on in the drama, was going to get in the way or, that kind of thing, which is what happened here. Because, yes, Deathstroke did kill Jericho, but he didn't mean to, and it wasn't out of malice or anger. And I knew it was going to be something like that. But, yeah, all these deaths and all this revenge, there's a lot of bad blood between Deathstroke and the Titans that, because of what we've seen in this episode and previous episodes, it's always going to be there. Like, they'll probably be enemies almost forever. I mean, there's too many dead people on both sides that both people are kind of responsible for at this point to really, for that to be easily washed away. And even though, Dick Grayson was being jerky, using, as people said, a kid as a pawn, I do still like the character. I mean, what he did is wrong, but I don't know. I still don't hate him. I still see him as a hero, just one who's tortured, because of things that happened in his past. But interesting, I guess you could say that he thought of doing this because he was being more like Batman. But I don't know if even Batman would be this messed up to mess with a little kid like that. I mean, to manipulate the little kid of an enemy of his. And even then, you could say if Batman had done this, it probably would have gone smoother because Batman is Batman, right? And I think that this speaks not only to Dick's being influenced by Batman, but because he wasn't able to execute his plot well enough and got beat up by Deathstroke too, I think this also speaks to any feelings of inadequacy he has, of not being as good as Batman, right? It makes sense to me why in previous episodes when he was feeling, insecure or guilty, why a vision of Batman, Bruce Wayne, was the one, giving him a hard time and saying things to him. Because he's in Batman's shadow, and in a way, as much as he hates Batman, he also can't live up and wants to be as good as Batman or better than Batman, but he's not. Or at least he wasn't in the past. Maybe he is now because he's older and has more experience. But, you know, botching up the Jericho mission and getting Jericho killed is going to make somebody feel inadequate and guilty. But I loved it. And it explained, you know, why the Titans broke up. This and Aqualad's death and them getting beaten up by Deathstroke, you know, was demoralizing all the way around. So that's, you know, it makes sense why the Titans would break up after that. You know, they were a part of, you know, like they got beaten up, but they were also part of a failed, soul-crushing plot that, you know, wound up in one of their friends, their friends getting killed, and they were responsible for it, and as being a part of that plan that was botched. So I loved it. I love the drama and the explanations and, you know, all the hurt feelings that are going to, like, be seeds for drama later on. I was into it. But is Jericho actually dead? I mean, this is a character who has the power to jump into other people's bodies. The way they did it in the show is different than the comics. In the show, they make it seem like when his spirit leaves his body's still there, but in, like, some kind of zombified state or catatonic state. In the comics originally, when Jericho jumped into people's bodies, his whole body went into yours and his mind. There was no, like, physical shell left. It's like he literally jumped into people's bodies. His whole self went in. But in the show, you know, they didn't have it like that. But I'm wondering if they'll make it that he got better using his powers and was able to put his entire body... Well, I don't know. I guess that wouldn't have worked because Jericho's dead body would have been left after Deathstroke stabbed him, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jericho turns up alive. Like, he was able to jump into Deathstroke's body either after the blade went in or just before, and then jump out and leave and go into hiding, right? Because if your power is body snatching and body jumping on a show like this, I mean, you're probably going to be around to show up later. Maybe Aqualad will come back in some kind of way. I thought Aqualad was cool. Great stuff. And speaking of the bodies jumping, when he jumped into Hank's body in the beginning, you know, he was making Hank act silly and dance and stuff. And that made me think, I've seen bits and pieces of Alan Ritchson, the actor, playing Hank and other things. He likes to be goofy and to, like, be comedic and show off his body at the same time in a lot of other roles. And so they did use, I think, this part to show off, you know, Hank and Alan's, like, goofy side. I mean, Alan, not Hank. Alan's the goofier side. Because Alan Ritchson in his other roles isn't really like he is in here. He's not as serious as Hank. He likes to be a goofball. And he likes to show off what he's got, like his assets. And I don't know if, you know, and I think they capitalize in both those things in that scene in this episode. But, you know, Alan Ritchson in other roles is not quite as serious and gruff as he is as playing Hank on this show. And I think this scene kind of, you know, was a callback to his other roles where he's a bit sillier. At least not in the things I've seen him been in. I haven't seen everything Alan Ritchson's been in, but he's done quite a bit of, like, comedy and stuff. So the Hank role's a bit different than what he usually does. The Hawk role. In a show like this, Titans is pretty serious. But all in all, great stuff. I love the backstory. I love the fact that they're making Deathstroke a really formidable opponent like he is in the comics. And, you know, I like the drama. But, you know, the writing and the acting is so good, I still don't hate any of these characters, even though they've done some horrible things. But good stuff. I liked it. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.